Welcome back, YouTube. Today we are playing our last part of PioFiore. We may have finished the finale route, but we still had to collect all the endings, including the romantic ending for the sad French man, Henry. You can watch me play live at twitch.tv/Pinker NeonNova. Enjoy the video! So the first part of this one is we're going to be doing the Henry romance ending. Which is going to involve a lot of fast forwarding. So I just brought my toast up to eat while I'm doing fast forwarding. I'm going to eat it real quick though, because I like it. So we're just going to go to chapters, finale, chapter 8. We want affinity high, cooperation high. Yes. And then when I get to the part where it's time to read again, I'll unmute and I will read again. Or when I'm finished eating, I will read. Apparently it's all new, so just give me a second here. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Sensing something, I went to look outside. Henry! I hesitated only for a brief moment. I quickly put on my gown and hurried and ran out of my room. I made my way out to the garden, where I was greeted with a stare. Henry! I thought you wouldn't come anymore. I thought he told me he said... Back then... I thought he told me what he said back then with the intention of never coming back. He began to speak. A certain brother and sister lived in this town. They were born in France, but the sister was a very important person to a certain Italian family. Neither she nor her family knew of her importance. Ah! His words confirmed what was on my mind. An opposing syndicate saw an opportunity. The brother and sister's parents were murdered so that the sister could be held for ransom. They planned to kill them both later, but the mafia came and saved their lives. The siblings were taken from France and brought here to the mafia's manor. You really are. Seeing me say nothing, Henry continued his story. According to lore, the sister and the mafia boss were bound by fate. But lore is simply that. The boss didn't want to shackle her to such a fate, but she saw it differently. The sister believed, from the bottom of her heart, that she was destined to be with him. Even after the boss fell in love with another woman, the sister was convinced that it must be her and soon went mad. She then died, hurting everyone she knew. Henry gave an eerie grin that looked hauntingly sad. I still dream of my sister to this day. Not once has she left my dreams. I mumbled quietly after hearing his story. What a terrible story. Indeed. Henry calmly responded. He then closed his eyes and chuckled. I am unsure as to why I am telling this to you. I assume it's because I wanted you to listen and know of my story. Forgive me. It's all right. I'm happy you shared with me your story. Thank you, Henry. Happy? Yes, I did wish to know more about you. So, I'm happy you told me your story. I see. You haven't changed. It looked like Henry was smiling. His eyes reflected sorrow, grief, and a hint of hesitance. Do you mind if I ask you something? Yes. Aren't you scared of the mafia? Well, of course I'm scared of them. Violence and crime are never right. But after getting to know them better, I realize they're made up of many people. Don't you want to be set free? Well, yes. I'd rather be set free than be shackled down to something. But I think I've said this before. Do you think you could have lived life more freely? Maybe I'm just not good at living my freedom to its fullest. I don't believe I'm lacking any freedom. Yes, I know. You've lived life within your boundaries. So why? You're bound and shackled to many things now. I assume things don't always go your way. For example, people's feelings. Well, yes, but I don't think that having everything go one's way is equivalent to freedom. You don't wish to have people's feelings unfold in your favor? To be honest, it hasn't crossed my mind. Have you ever cursed God? Well, no. I replied a bit hesitantly as I tried to think about it. If someone precious to me were being threatened with danger, and if I couldn't do anything about it, nor could I get anyone to help, only then might I curse God for putting me in such a situation. That's not how things are now? Yes, I have many who can help me, who I can even help in some way too. I just have to be strong and face whatever stands in my way, one at a time. That's how I live every day. Or maybe it's just that I simply don't have the luxury of cursing anyone now. I smiled at my final comment, and Henry fell silent. Henry? He looked at me quietly. His eyes looked coldly, and I felt as though I saw a shadow of hatred in them. Key Maiden Pinker NeonNova. He knows I'm the Key Maiden. I shouldn't be surprised at this point. I'm sure he talked to me back then because he knew who I was. Someone with Chloe's fate. Key Maiden. What are your views on the fate you've been burdened with? Well, if I've been chosen by fate, then then I want to do what I can to fulfill it. I understand it isn't easy, but I still want to do my best. I see. Henry sighed. Let me ask you one last thing. Yes? Do you like this town? I replied with, yes, I like Berlone. Why? You can't say this is a livable town. This place isn't like before. It's ruled by violence and force. Yes, but even so, I still like this town. Henry, there are some people who haven't changed a bit, even with what's happening. I like those people, and seeing them no different from before makes me happy. Once all the rioting and turmoil subsides, I'm sure things will go back to normal again. People will smile like they did before. You're similar, yet you're not. Hmm? I need to get going. You better go back inside before you catch a cold. Ah! I called his name as he turned his back to me to leave. Wait, Righton. His shoulder twitched slightly. You're Righton, aren't you? Righton is the French name for Henry, right? I don't want you calling me that name. He muttered coldly and quickly departed the church grounds. Henry. I turned back around to go inside the church after watching Henry leave. Suddenly, I saw Orlok coming out of the dormitory. I'm sorry, Pink. I was sleeping until now. I didn't expect you to be awake so early, so I didn't make it here on time. There's no need to apologize. I should be apologizing for going out. I must have worried you, leaving like that without saying anything. Yes, but it's okay now. I'm glad nothing happened. Yes, I only came out here to get a breath of fresh air. I'm going to clean up the church. Will you help me, Orlok? Boop. Sorry, it was toast time. I was enjoying an espresso in Arca when I saw a certain someone. Roberto came out of the police station and walked towards me. Our eyes met, but he looked away. Hello, Roberto. Hello. You're not biting back at me. What's wrong? Did you have something bad for lunch? I'm the same as usual. What are you? No, never mind. Roberto frowned as he swallowed his words and continued on his way. Come to think of it, this was where I first met him. I believe he was just stationed in Berlin back then. I was enjoying a cup of espresso back then as well. I stepped in between him and a woman who seemed to get entangled in an argument. After that, he stopped me before I left. Hey, you. Quite a trick you pulled. He lacked tact, that's for sure, but he seemed to like me back then. I just got here from Rome. Can you tell me about this town? The restaurants along the coast are exceptional. They serve the freshest seafood. I see. If you have time, do you mind telling me more? Roberto probably didn't realize I was mafia. I didn't know he was an officer either. I shared with him my favorite bars and shops around the area. He seemed quite pleasant then. It had been a rocky first impression, but I realized he was good deep inside. A few weeks later, a Falzone soldier caused a ruckus in Arca. I went to the police station to bail him out, and it was then I realized that Roberto was actually a police officer. He mentioned he had come from Rome, so I assumed he was assigned here. If what he wanted was to return to Rome, he would need to cut ties with me. I filled out the forms needed to set bail. Roberto saw me and came to talk to me, but I disregarded him as if he weren't there. The result? It seemed he hated me now. Nicola Francesca! How dare you brazenly walk through here, you lousy mobster! I don't believe it matters much to you where I decide to walk, does it? You must be joking. The station's right around the corner. Since then, he keeps hassling me each time we meet. Roberto has a crush on Nicola. It was quite a pain, really, but it's boring to see him be so quiet like this. I decided to head out to the church. I'm going to go clean up the church. Will you help me, Orlok? Aw, they're a couple now. So cute. Of course. I think I'm actually enjoying doing the cleaning. I can relate. It feels good to see things nice and clean. We both looked at each other with a smile and headed inside the church. This was unexpected. Nicola came to visit the church. At first, I thought he just came to replace Orlok as a guard, just like before. But Nicola asked to speak with me in private. I hesitantly let him in my room. Can I fast forward now? Oh, yeah. I'm finished my toast. It was really good. I made peanut butter toast. I don't know anything. There's nothing I have that you want. Impossible. You're his girl. There has to be. I'm not anyone's girl. I'm just a normal girl from the church. He seemed a bit confused at what I was saying. The town is unsafe now, so he was simply offering to walk me through the town after church. You're telling me that the Falzone's underboss was only acting as your escort? The Burlone Mafia has long since offered help to the church for years. They stopped while I was talking. I needed to somehow buy as much time as I could by talking. Nicholas said something about the man above you, but I don't even know who he is. There's no way I can give you any information. He went silent. Go and contact him. You'll know what she just said is true. Nicola was smiling like he wasn't hurt at all. What you said earlier about not knowing anything was a good call. It's only natural that we wouldn't share any top secret information with any girl. Nicola, do you mind elaborating what your plan is supposed to be? You were calm back then when they were surrounding us. I have peanut butter mouth. Hold on, I need to take a drink of water. There we go. You knew this was going to happen, right? Nicola tried to take the rope off me, but I shook my head in response. Run, Nicola. Don't worry. You can leave me here. Oh? He was stunned by what I just said. If they find you, they'll kill you for sure. But if what you said is right, then I won't be killed, right? If we try to escape together, all I would do is burden him. It's best for you to escape alone and make sure you survive. I can't leave you here. There's no guarantee that you'd be safe. I understand. Even so. I looked straight into Nicola's eyes. I'll be fine. I also need to meet him anyway. I need to meet him as the Key Maiden. No, as Pinker NeonNova. He stared into my eyes for a while, with a grim face. Noticing that I wasn't going to budge, he finally let out a sigh. You need to let everyone know. He had to notify everyone that Wrighton tried to kill him, and that they had a base here. Back at the church, I told you that I understood your plan could be dangerous. I want to help the town too, so I have to do what I can. A lot of people I know and care for live here, after all. So please listen, Nicola. He thought in silence for a bit, then shrugged in disbelief. You're just unbelievable. His eyes wavered with hesitance as he gritted his teeth. Ugh. All of a sudden, Nicola quickly raised his head. I listened closely to hear, amidst the noise of the machines. Someone is talking outside? Nicola crouched down and looked at me, then gave me his promise. I'll come to save you, in the name of the foul zone. I nodded and smiled at his promise. Please be safe. He gave a reassuring smile as he hurriedly headed next to the door. A few seconds later, the door opened and a man stepped inside the room. Nicola quickly covered the man's mouth with his hand and slid his knife along his neck. In an instant, he slit the man's throat. The blood spewed high into the air. Unable to speak, the man fell to his knees. I bit my tongue to keep myself from screaming as I turned my head away. Why, you? Behind the man was another who tried to raise his voice, but Nicola's blade went right into the man's eye. Oof. That's violent, baby. I like it. Nicola ruthlessly pulled his knife out and kicked the man to the ground. Without turning back, he ran out of the room. Wait! Damn it! I heard yelling outside, followed by gunfire. Another scream could be heard. Come to think of it, this must be some kind of factory with all these machines running. If so, there must be others working here besides the black-suited men. After him. Don't let him get away. Calm down. But... You saw that, didn't you? He'll just kill anyone going after him. Don't forget, our mission is to ensure she's with us. Huh? They must have given up pursuing him. The men came into the room. They didn't have their masks on, probably because they were caught off guard. I bit my lip and glared at them. The men frowned, looking at all the blood splattered about the place. We need to clean this place up. We should be able to save him as long as the blade didn't reach his brain. The other person crumpled on the ground was already dead. The man who was stabbed was still breathing. The men hurriedly took him out of the room. One of the suited men remained, slowly walking towards me menacingly. Time to go to sleep. I prayed for Nicola's safety. As long as he escapes, everyone will. I got chloroformed. Chapter 9. I was treated by a doctor upon my return. I left her behind. She wasn't going to budge. I could tell very well she had no intention of changing her mind. But was this really the right call? My mind replayed the scene over and over again. Why have you come back alone? Orlok was rightfully upset. With the casino raid tomorrow, we made plans to meet later tonight. I somehow made it to the church in time. I brought with me evidence of the factory's involvement in the counterfeiting. But in turn, I left the person I was supposed to protect with my life behind. You promised you'd protect her. Why did you? I'm sorry. Unbelievable. You can't keep a promise, can you, Francesca? Yang, you're so delicious. However, you brought back some useful information. Nice work. Yeah. We know where the factory is, and we have the proof we need now. I don't think all of Nicola's moves were wrong. He was thinking ahead, right? Dante. He wasn't showing any anger despite being the most worried here. I'd rather he yell at me instead. The worst case scenario crossed my mind. At the same time, a part of me suspected she was actually just fine. I recalled my conversation with Righton. I've heard from Orlok that you've been frequenting the church lately. Poor thing. You're planning on sacrificing her for your own benefit, aren't you? No. I would never sacrifice her for such a thing. Oh? I was surprised he showed any emotion. What I just heard wasn't the voice of the casino's director. It was Righton's voice. He must have noticed he said too much. He quickly turned around to leave. This was not the time to be in pain. She put her life at risk because she trusted me. Did I trust you, or did I just want to bang Henry? We decided to change our plans so that we could rescue Pinker. We'll take action immediately. The casino will see hell tonight. I slowly opened my heavy eyelids. I didn't recognize this place. Where am I? I slowly sat up on the plush sofa. I don't hear the machines anymore. I wasn't entirely sure what had happened, but it looked like I had been asleep the whole time. The ropes binding me were gone. Huh? I turned my head slowly towards the knocking door. Suddenly, a person came in and bowed to me, seeing that I was awake. Welcome to my casino, Key Maiden. I like when you put on an act for me, sir. His elegant attire, overly polite demeanor, and theatrical gestures. I knew it was the director. I began speaking to him slowly and calmly. Show me your face. I continued to speak. You asked me before whether I would forgive his poor soul. I said I would because I understood that he was still a child and that his sister was his entire life. The siblings' parents were killed, and they were taken to another land to be raised by the mafia. I could only imagine what they went through. I kept thinking about how much sorrow he felt with the loss of his sister. So I couldn't simply dismiss his hatred for the mafia. Mm. He gave a brief sigh. He placed his hand on his mask. I despise the Foul Zone for killing my sister, Chloe. All I am doing is getting rid of the Foul Zone and bringing chaos to the town for supporting them. Ever since Chloe died, I spent every single day of my life living for vengeance. Oh, he's so handsome. Look at him. Smash. And you committed crimes for that purpose. I kept myself open to options. I would never let them go for what they've done. I would do anything to eliminate them. I don't believe in God, so I don't fear him. God chose Chloe, yet he didn't save her. Why should I fear such a useless existence? You? I stopped myself from interrupting, seeing him shackled to his twisted revenge. I'm sure Henry knows already. Even if God didn't punish Henry, what he was doing was wrong. Henry, why did you come to the church? Why did you keep talking to me? It was mere curiosity. I wished to know who the new key maiden was. You would be sacrificed under my plan. No. It was a likely possibility. Henry looked at me with his cold eyes as he continued without any emotion. It would be easier to lure the Valzone family to my trap using the key maiden. So, I wanted to meet you beforehand to see what kind of girl was chosen next. But I'm still alive. You haven't sacrificed me. You warned me to stay away from the mafia. But I hadn't budged at all. I couldn't stay away because I wanted to do everything I could to help them. You were warning me to stay away so that I wouldn't get caught in your plan, weren't you? You helped me when I was caught in the chaos in town. He could have turned a blind eye to me, but he came to help me. I had no intention of helping you. I was serious when I said I wouldn't worry about you anymore. His face twisted in pain. I wasn't planning on getting involved with you, but I found myself at the church. I intervened the moment I saw you in danger. I am accustomed to sacrificing people. Oh, sir. But not me. You love me. Henry chuckled to himself with scorn. You and Chloe are alike. Don't compare me to your sister. We're not doing that. It may be because you were both chosen to be key maidens. I know you're not Chloe, But before I knew it, I was searching for her within you. No! Perhaps that was around the time when I didn't want to sacrifice you anymore. No, you didn't want to sacrifice me anymore because you think I'm cute and you want to smash. I kept going to see you to try and convince myself you weren't Chloe. Correct? And finally, it was then that I knew in my heart you weren't. Thank you. He's referring to. I think I know exactly what he's referring to. You're similar, yet you're not. The room filled with silence. How long had we been looking at each other? Henry suddenly mumbled, I wasn't able to give Chloe the freedom she deserved back then. I let her die, and I couldn't stop it. You were a child. You have to forgive yourself for that, okay? You're following her fate, living a life without freedom, unable to leave this town. Maybe that's why I wanted to take you outside, even if it was only a moment. Okay. You smiled at me then, and that brought joy to my heart. Ah, taking a walk in the morning feels so good. That's right. I enjoyed our stroll that morning so much that I hoped we could go again. I've spoken a number of times with you, but that was about the only time I was able to bring a smile to your face. Henry. His words brought a sharp pain to my heart. He closed his eyes, then placed the mask back on his face to end the conversation. The curtains will fall shortly. I will have you come with me. The casino halls echoed with the sounds of gunfire and screams. Dante must have begun their attack. The patrons who were in there gambling were now running for their lives. The mafia soldiers pointed their guns to them as they led them outside. Pink. Orlok shouted my name, the first to notice my presence. Henry was behind me, with his gun pointed to me. Nicola! I promised I would come for you. He must have escaped safely. Seeing him here made me sigh with relief. Dante saw Henry and began to speak in a harsh voice. Director, your objective is to exact revenge on the Falzone family. Indeed, this is to avenge Chloe, Signor Falzone. I apologize for dragging you and your sister into the Falzone's mission. Henry quietly listened to what Dante was saying. The mask he wore hid his expression. I don't want to involve the Key Maiden in my mission as the head of the Falzone. That was the same with my father as well. He didn't want to sacrifice Chloe or your parents. You didn't want us involved? Sweet words to cover your dirty deeds. Behold, even now the Falzone has the key maiden shackled to her fate. You must know, more than anyone, that you're wrong. You've been speaking to her, after all. Henry quietly turned his attention to Nicola. You're blaming the Falzone family for everything, but you know better. You are aware of who she is, and why you're still attached to us. I heard dirty. Yeah, Henry called the Falzone family dirty. Look at how pretty he is. He took his mask off with his beautiful long locks, and he was very pretty. He was very handsome. I love him. I'm not being forced to help them. They aren't using me either. They tried to protect me. I turned to Henry and tried to reach him with my honesty. I wanted to get involved with them. I wanted to help Berlone in any way I could. The Key Maiden is chosen outside of the Falzone family's control. It's a force beyond humans' reach. There is no meaning in blaming Dante for this. If the church was the source of the problem, we should be the ones punished. That's simply shifting the blame. You think that would absolve them of their sins? So what is this sin you speak of? Look at my two crazy husbands on screen together. Crazy babies. Yang smiled teasingly. Your sister was in love with the previous Falzone's boss, no? Apparently, he was already engaged. Already engaged before you two came to this town. Is that what you're referring to as their sin? And that's why the Falzone is to blame? Your sister blindly fell in love. If anything, she's the one who sinned. I could tell Henry's emotions were rising inside of him, hearing Yang blame Chloe. Yang! You are playing with fire. And I love it. Crazy knows how to push Crazy's buttons. So, that still doesn't change the fact that the Falzone killed Chloe. Is that so? She committed suicide. The Falzone didn't do anything directly. You think I'd buy that lie? Chloe was murdered. I had that checked with the detective who investigated her death, and he said otherwise. At the very least, she wasn't killed by the Mafia. You're blaming them without proof. Berlone's police can't be trusted. They can easily lie for the sake of the Mafia. Chloe was killed. She was shot before my very eyes. Shot? Wait, Henry. Chloe died falling from a cliff. Did you really see Chloe being shot and killed? Gun. No, Chloe. She was stabbed. No, she was poisoned and she died from drowning. They didn't find any gunshot wounds on her body. The sea. Henry was holding his head in his hand as if he was in great pain. Oh, all those rumors made him crazy. Oh no. All those rumors he heard as a kid made him crazy. All the gossip made him crazy. From grief. If it were in the mafia's hands, they would have made sure the body was never found. You may not have known that before, but you must be well aware of that by now. No, Chloe. Revenge for her suffering. I turned completely around to face him, his gun now pointed at my chest. I spoke to Henry, who was mumbling in pain. Henry, would Chloe want revenge? You said to me that I'm just like her. This is just me, but if I were in her situation, I wouldn't want to be avenged, even with all that has happened. I wouldn't want my brother to suffer. He gritted his teeth, holding back the pain. Henry. I slowly lowered his arm with the gun in hand. It slipped and fell to the ground. Then suddenly, the casino shook with a violent explosion. Ah! Henry immediately pushed me hard towards Dante. Dante embraced me before I could fall. The explosions continued, and soon the halls filled with smoke. Flames began to engulf the area. Henry! I called his name, but he didn't respond. He slowly walked away towards the flames. Dante pulled my back as I tried to go after Henry. I looked up at Dante, and he silently shook his head. I'm gonna kill you, Ice Prince. This is not the time. And then I was forcefully dragged out of the burning casino. Henry! Calm down, Pink. Don't tell me to calm down. I'm gonna punch you in the teeth. I turned around and looked at everyone. I'm so sorry. I forced myself out of Dante's hands. I need to go. No. I can't leave him there. The flames brought fear into my heart. Despite that, I was moved to action by an emotion I couldn't describe. I ran into the burning casino. I walked through the casino hall aimlessly. The mask in my hand fell to the floor. I've been having a nightmare, even though I'm awake. I couldn't save anyone. God isn't leading me. Why did she die without me? Oh, my baby. I love a sad man. Why did she leave me with only hatred?
この手を汚した時
I knew there was no turning back the moment I dirtied my hands. I dropped to my knees amidst the searing heat and slowly closed my eyes.
ようやく
But now, I can finally end it all. I can finally be saved. Suddenly, Henry! The voice was too vivid to be a dream. I turned around, fear gripping my chest.
どうして
Why? She wasn't supposed to be here. This place will crumble and burn to ruins.
どうして来たんだ
Why are you here, Pinker? 'Cause I'm crazy. Look at me. I came for you. We're getting to silly times. I say like this whole stream hasn't been silly times. She yelled, frightened, and grabbed my arm. Why is she touching me? Doesn't she know I'm the most unsightly being to ever exist? I could tell that the way out was already engulfed in flames.
このまま彼女を連れてはいけない
I can't have her follow me. She. Pinker isn't Chloe.
こっちだ
This way. I mustered the strength to start walking. Pinker was looking at me with hesitation and fear in her face. She quietly followed.
生きていて
She has to live. She has to. I have to live. He needs me to. Henry? He quietly touched the base of the statue, which started to move. Huh? The statue sunk into the ground, opening a hidden path heading down.
ここに入るんだ
Go.
この地下通路は
This path will lead
ブ
you
ローの
outside
外ま
Berlone.
でつながっている
But
私は一緒には行けない
I can't go with you. Pinker. Henry urged me to go, but I couldn't let go of his hand now. What are you going to do? Look at how handsome he is. Look at how handsome he is. Are you staying here?
それは
I. Henry's expression revealed his intentions to me. I quickly shook my head. I won't let you go. If you stay, I'll stay. He frowned at me as his voice began in an irritated as he began to speak in an irritated voice.
死にたいのか
Why would you want to
なぜそんなわがま
die? I don't, and I don't want you to die either. Please, Henry, come with me. The fire was getting stronger as we argued. I knew I was being selfish, but I had no plans of letting him go. I didn't want him to die. Henry gave a weary sigh as the billowing smoke continued to fill the room. Let's go. Yes. Listen, man, I ran back into a burning building for you. Like, you think I'm just gonna let you die? No, you're stuck with me now. Waiting for him to walk first, I stepped into the underground exit. It looked like the smoke hadn't gotten through here. The air was damp and cold. Suddenly, the place shook. Debris fell, debris fell and mercilessly blocked our way out. Ah! The shaking caused me to let go of Henry as I fell to the ground. He quickly reached out to me, but his hand stopped moving midway. He's not allowed to die, I've decided. He quietly looked at me and spoke with a hesitant voice.
大丈夫か？
Are you all right? Yes. I smiled as I got up. The fire was no longer a threat. But thinking that we could have died out there brought a chill over my body. Still, I was feeling relieved now that Henry was here with me. I dusted myself off and turned to Henry. Henry, where does this lead to?
このカジノができる以前から存在して
I
いた
heard this passage was here before the casino was built.
私も実際に使っ
I've
た
never
ことは
used it myself,
以前見た
but
地図
if
が
the
正
map
しけ
is
れば
correct,
一日
it should
ほど
lead
歩
us
けば
outside
街
of
の外
town.
に出る
No dying until after face sitting. Death by snoo snoo. Death by snoo snoo.
ここからは君一人
You're
で
safe now, so. Come with me, Henry. Knowing what I was going to say, Henry went quiet. He tiredly closed his eyes. Quite selfish indeed.
わがままだな
I'm sorry.
君のわがままを否定できるだけ
I don't have the right to deny your
今
selfishness
私は
now.
持ち合わせていない
With that, Henry looked away from me and continued walking. I hurriedly followed to keep pace behind him. Henry quietly continued on his way. It was almost winter. The air in the passage was cold. He was walking slowly ahead of me, as if he were dragging himself forward with each step. I tried to keep up with him, but the frigid cold was making it difficult to match his pace. I was tripping a lot more now. I tried my best to hide the cold that was eating away at the warmth in my body. Henry suddenly stopped. Henry? I looked up at him hesitantly. Henry's eyes were looking at me with hesitance as well. He sighed, then took his coat off. He placed his coat over me, then sat us down beside each other. Henry?
少し
Rest a while. Henry whispered quietly. His eyes were staring into the open space. That's my man. There were a lot of questions I had for him, but feeling his warmth was lulling me to sleep. Henry. My body was at its limit. Unable to fight back, I slowly closed my eyes. Fire!
まだ消えないのか急げ
Get the fire under control. Hurry. Dante was yelling angrily. The Firefighters, police, and even the mafia were trying to extinguish the flames. The members who attacked the factory joined the efforts as well. But this was no ordinary fire. The explosions were so strong, despite everyone's effort, the fire showed no sign of diminishing. Gilbert was quietly glaring at the casino when suddenly he took off his jacket. Good. Looks like it's a bit weaker than before. Time to go in. No, Gilbert, stay outside. Don't die. Stop. You're going to die. Good. Your husband's here to talk some sense into you. Oliver was trying his best to stop Gilbert from charging into the casino. I see Redford has a death wish. If that's the case, why not let him be? Hearing Yang's ridiculous gesturing, the unusually quiet Orlok went into a fury. How are you so calm? She's still in there. The balance of life and death is interesting, but once the result is known, it gets quite boring. If he thinks he won't die in there, so be it. Let him test it out for himself. Orlok clenched his fist. He wanted to dive into the fire too, but he knew well enough that he couldn't. I looked up at the burning casino. Her words crossed my mind. I'll be fine. I also need to meet him anyway. I need to meet him as the Key Maiden. No, as Pinker NeonNova. The flames continued its wrath on the casino. Nicola knew! Nicola knew! I slowly opened my eyes. Ah! I recalled what had happened, seeing him beside me and feeling his warmth. I'm sorry. I must have fallen asleep. Don't worry. Rest a bit longer. Seeing the situation we were in, I couldn't possibly sleep now. I slowly looked up at his face. Did he not sleep? It looked like he was gazing into the air. He didn't seem to have slept for a moment. Aren't you tired, Henry? No. Even if you can't sleep, just rest a while longer. We still have a far way to go. You won't last without sufficient rest. If you're not going to sleep, then I want to talk with you. Again. I suppose I can listen, but I have nothing to say to you now. Don't be rude. I just ran away from, like, 4 of the hottest men and the cutest young man ever to be with you. Okay? So just, you have to deal with this now. I'm your problem. There's a lot I want to ask you. I want to know you better. Remember when we talked about you before? How you were born in France, then came to this town? What happened after that? I heard you were adopted by someone in the Falzone family. That's... Henry looked reluctant to speak. I could feel his arm around me getting tense. Should I have not asked about that?
いや、
No,
いいだろう。
it's fine.
少し
Let's talk a little. Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm gonna girl boss this man.
君はまだ
This is a good opportunity for you to know how unclean I
分か
am.
っていないようだ。
Listen, I'm already in this. Huh?
バルツォーネは血統を重んじる一族だ。
The Falzone are very strict about their bloodline,
それは
even
変わらない
amongst their own relatives.
そんな家が
Do you think they would
ど
be
この
happy to
馬の
welcome a
骨とも
complete
知らない
stranger?
人間しかも
My
当時
sister was
妻
about
と子を
to
殺
kill
し
the
かけた
Falzone
女の
boss's wife and
弟
child.
彼らは
I became. Henry's voice began to tremble. I held tightly onto his clothes.
私は彼らの覇気
I became their whipping boy. I'll kill them.
養子とは名ばかりで
They adopted me,
狭い部屋に
but they threw me into a small room and barely gave me enough to eat.
与えら
I'll
れ
kill them.
たとえ私が死のうと
I doubt they
構わない
cared whether I was dead or alive. In fact, my death would have been more convenient for them. He closed his eyes, as if remembering.
一家には
They had a daughter around the same age as Chloe. She was the only one who treated me
彼
kindly.
女だけ
I took a deep breath. Someone cared about you, Henry.
私が顔を殴られそうになると止めてくれたよ
She stopped her parents from
せ
beating
めて
me.
他の場所にして
She asked at least they do it elsewhere. Huh?
彼女は私を優
She
しく
kindly
懐
took
柔
me
して
in. Soon she forced me to play with her.
遊び相手を
Okay,
するようになった
I don't like this. Mind the trigger warnings.
私は一度だって
I never once wanted to play, though. Wait, Henry? I trembled as I spoke his name. Henry ignored me and continued.
いろんなことをさせられたけれど上手にできると
She made me do all sorts of things, but she gave me bread if I did her bidding.
それがなければ私
I
は
would have
今
died
日
if it
死ん
weren't
で
for her. I just wanted to live.
私人としての尊厳
In exchange, I threw away my
を
pride.
渡した私は神を
I cursed God and the world
世界
itself.
全てを呪った私から全て
I hated the foul
奪った
zone
バルツォーネを
for taking everything
憎ま
away
ず
from
には
me.
いられなかった憎まなければ
I couldn't maintain my sanity without hatred. No, I suppose I had gone mad long before then.
今
Oh,
思え
my little baby boy.
とっくにく
Henry snickered coldly. Henry,
神を
have you ever
恨んだ
cursed
こ
God?
と
My answer to Henry then: if someone precious to me were being threatened with danger, and if no one would help, then I may curse God.
私は神を信
I
じ
don't believe in God, so I don't
だか
fear
ら
him.
神の罰な神はクロエを
God
選
chose
び
Chloe, yet he
クロエ
didn't
を
save her.
救わなかった
Why should I
そんな
fear such
力
a
なき
useless
存在を
existence?
恐れはしない
I love you so much, sir. I just want to kiss your forehead and stroke your hair and tell you everything will be okay. It wasn't just Chloe who couldn't be saved. Henry was left to face life all alone. He lived a life of suffering with no one to help him and no one to save him. Just thinking about that made me sick.
それから
One day,
私と遊んでいる
that girl
さな
that
か
died an unfortunate death while playing with me.
その娘がその日
I then killed the remaining of that family. If I didn't, they would have killed me.
でなければ
I listened as Henry recounted the events matter of factly. I couldn't say a word.
私は一人フランス
I
に戻っ
returned to
て
France alone.
生
I
き
did
る
all
た
I
めに
could to
使えるも
survive
の
there.
すべて何も持ってい
I
な
had
かっ
no
たか
one
ら
and
最
nothing,
初は自分
and
が
I survived on my own.
そのうちに
Soon,
他人を利用
I
する
learned to
術
use
を身につけ
others.
たイタリアから来た留学
I
生
met
である
Sebastian
セ
Gallier,
バスティアーノ・
an
ガリアと
exchange
出会っ
student
て
from
親しくなった
Italy,
彼を
who I
殺し
befriended.
成り代わった
Befriended. I can talk today. Befriended, then killed to assume his identity.
仮名を手に
I
入れるた
needed
め
his family name,
彼の家族も
so
全
I
て
killed
殺した
everyone in his family.
数
I
えきれない
drenched my hands in their blood.
私は君は
You
私を
said you
許
would
すと言
forgive
って
me,
くれたけれど
but I have no right to be saved.
私は手を差し伸べてもら
I
う資
forgive
格
you.
などない
That's the streamer, not the protagonist.
それほどまでに私を
Now you see how unclean I truly am. Oh no, not the ferned. Henry.
私は
I know the
人間の
ugliness of
醜悪
humans.
さを知っている
That includes
自
myself,
分を含め
living the life of tragedy and satire.
君はそう思う
You
の
may
か
not
も
think
しれ
so,
ないが
but all living
生
things
き
are
てい
dirty
る
in
も
some
のは
way,
汚いよだから私
which
は
is
人
why
間
I
に
don't
嫌い
want
だ
to touch
触れた
anyone.
くもない
But now, Henry was holding me in his arms. Is Henry forcing himself to hold me?
復讐だけを考えなが
I
ら
thought countless
な
times.
ぜ私はまだ生きてい
Henry,
る
the
のか
depressed
と
Yang.
疑問に思
Yeah.
ったこともある
Listen, I like my boys a little crazy. Sometimes also a little sad. It's fine. It's still hot. I thought countless times of how to meet my vengeance and why I'm still alive.
生きていても
Nothing came from being alive aside from hatred and suffering. Henry. I didn't know what to say. Henry's words hit something inside of me. Tears began to roll down my cheeks. I'm sorry, Henry. Why?
どうして
Ah, you don't want me touching you. No, that's not it. I thought before that you probably lived alone all your life. I thought you hated the mafia because of all the suffering you went through. But I couldn't have been more wrong. I wasn't even close to understanding how much you've suffered. Even his warmth, which comforted me, only brought him pain. My being here with him must be making him suffer. I'm so sorry, Henry. Henry looked at me troubled. He kept opening his mouth as if he wanted to say something to me, but closed it again. Henry finally spoke in a sad voice. Go to sleep, Pinker. He firmly held me closer to him, as if he was trying to calm me.
話は終わりだ
Forget what I said.
忘れていい
My story is over now. How can I forget? I was having a hard time breathing. Sorrow gripped my heart as I felt his warmth. I couldn't hold back my tears as I leaned against him. I wondered how long it has been. Henry, I'm fine now. He slowly released his hold on me. I'm sorry. You must have been cold too. I gave the coat back to him. Henry quietly took it from my hand. Pinker, Hmm? Henry awkwardly lent his hand to me. Huh? I looked at the black glove on his hand for a moment. If Henry's all right, then. I hesitantly reached out to him. He twitched the moment I touched his hand. I quickly tried to withdraw my hand, but Henry took it and held it. Oh, thank you for blessing my cough. Henry. Hmm. Henry started to walk and I followed. I could feel his warmth through his glove. We continued, hand in hand, as we searched for the exit. After a long walk and frequent rests along the way, we finally made it out. I couldn't tell what time it was underground, but it looked like the sun was about to set.
夕日の方角から見て
Based on the
向こうは
sun,
ブルローネだ
Berlone should be in that
俺は
direction.
町に
You should
君を待つ人々のもとに
return to
帰
town.
るといい
Everyone is waiting. What about you, Henry?
どの道私は処分され
Either
る
way, I'll be disposed of,
ブルローネマフィアか
either by the Berlone Mafia or the government.
私に残された償いの方
A just
法は
punishment for all I've done. He smiled slightly. Don't smile. I don't want to be rid of you ever, sir.
私には生きる場所も
I have no
生
place
き
to
る
live
理由もない
and no reason to live.
いや最初
No.
からどちらもなかった
I had
ことに
neither from the
今
very
になって
beginning.
気づいただけ
I've just realized it now. I looked at his sad smile.
神様のお導きだ
God brought us together.
復讐は愚かな行いだ
He understands that vengeance is futile.
今もよく夢を
I
見
still
る
dream of my sister to this
俺
day.
の夢を
Not once has she left my
生き
dreams.
ていた頃も
Then, just make a new place to live. If not in this country, somewhere else. I'll go with you. My words came without a thought. Maybe I was already intent on it from the moment I jumped into the fire. That was the moment I realized I didn't want to lose him. Henry was staring at me with a bewildered look on his face. He looked at me like a lost child. I don't want to let go of his hand.
どうしてそんなことを言う
Why are you saying that?
この町が好きだと言っ
You
ていた
told me you love this town.
この町とここに住む
You're
人々を
willing to leave
全てを
everyone
捨てる
and
のか
everything behind
私
for
の
me?
手を取るために
Why?
どうして
I don't know. But I want to show you, Henry. I want to show you that there's so much joy and happiness in this world. Oh. It can't be only pain or suffering. My eyes welled up with tears as I recalled what he had been through. I'm sure you can find a reason to live. Dying won't absolve you of your sins, so you need to live, Henry. If you sincerely feel sorry for all those you've sacrificed, then live, no matter what. That will be your punishment.
私が殺した人々は
Would those who I've killed really want that? They must be waiting for me in their graves. I don't know the feelings of those people, but I do know this. Your death won't save anyone. And I don't want you to die. Henry looked as though he was about to cry. Depressed man not allowed to die because girl said so. Because young woman said so. Asking him to live must be a very cruel thing to him, but I won't let go of his hand. I'll hold Henry's hand tight. I just want to be by his side. That was my wish. I mean, what? Oh, baby kitty. Nicola Francesca. A few months had passed since the casino fire. We continued to hold our meetings at the church. Berlone had not yet settled down. We had a pile of work ahead of us. We finally got rid of the remaining men under the director. The church has ordered the disbandment of the currency union so that the name can never be used again. As usual, everyone reported on the results of their work. Burp, 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 burp. We looked at each other and nodded. I got a letter from Pink. She's alive? That's great news. We couldn't find her body in the casino, so we began searching for her whereabouts. Time passed and no new developments. Then suddenly, we received a letter from her. She was apologizing to all of us for not being able to repay what we've done for her. But we didn't. Which means he's alive, isn't he? I hope you didn't assume he was dead. Well, yeah, but we couldn't get any leads on him either. He's been living a life of secrecy all this time. I doubt we'll find him anytime soon. Indeed. Well, so much for the Berlone Mafia. Gilbert laughed and shrugged at Yang's remark. Well, we'll just keep looking. Henry and I were together now. We ran off to a remote village in France. We bought a rundown church and we're using it for children orphaned by the war. We were living a life in peace and quiet. I didn't say farewell to Berlone, so I sent a letter just once to the Berlone Mafia. It was my only way of apologizing to them after all they had done for me. I also wrote my appreciation too. Days passed when suddenly he appeared in front of us. Hello there. Emilio! Church Twink! Church Twink found me! Kill him! Henry's face hardened, seeing Emilio appear in the village. Do those two know each other? Emilio was, as usual, speaking to us without a care in the world. Oh, they're not as angry as you think. They? Wait, you mean... Emilio must have known what I was going to say. He smiled at me in reply. Really? Yes. They're not resentful of you. In fact, they're more worried than anything. Emilio glanced at Henry. Of course. They are the mafia. They can't just let him go free. If you want him to live, you will need to go into hiding again in another country. Henry didn't say a word. Emilio continued. If you are out of options, contact the church for help. Even if it was fated by the stars, it is true that we caused trouble to the both of you. The young man lowered his beautiful head apologetically. I will continue to watch over you both. If you need, I will lend a helping hand. It is the least we, no, I, can do for you. Oh, thank you, Emilio. Emilio. I was about to ask him something when. Pink, the wind is blowing the laundry away. Oh no! The laundry was fluttering on the lines as I ran to the children trying to hold the laundry down. I could see her fighting the laundry, fluttering in the high winds. Messenger of the church, can I ask you something? As you wish. Our mission is to be the shepherds to the lost sheep in need. I don't know how much you know about me, but I've committed grave sins. I have taken many lives to ease my suffering. I don't deserve salvation. I will probably die at the hands of those who curse me. I believe I deserve as such, and am willing to accept any punishment. And he didn't look any different since the last time I saw him. He looked calmly at me. But what about her? Won't she also be punished if she stays next to me? Hi, Stinky. I'm talking to my cat. She's being a little stinker. Let me answer your questions, Henry. He gazed at me with a serious expression. Those who do wrong will be punished. That applies to you. That is what it means to sin. Sin and punishment work together. I listened intently to his words. But how she chooses to live and who she wants to live with isn't a sin. Hey, Stinky could have been Emilio. Stinky wants to have her chin rubbed and her face rubbed. She's being very cute. God is one who forgives our tainted souls, not punishes them. I don't understand God's teachings, and I doubt I can believe in him either. But I'm fine, so long as she isn't punished. Henry, if you wish the best for her, you must live a life of repentance. You know for yourself that your life was spared, not by God, but by her. I lowered my eyes as Emilio continued. You're still having the same dream, aren't you? Yeah, he's having the same dream because he's crazy. But we're working on it. How did he know that? I stopped myself from asking. It doesn't make any sense to ask at this point. And I'm not sure I want to know the answer. It was clear to me that he lived outside the natural law of this world. He looked no different now from the moment when I first met him when I was a child. I still have the same dream at times. I hope it will fade away someday. Your words are appreciated, but I doubt it will ever fade away. I can't escape from the nightmare. I will always be shackled to it for as long as I live. I will continue to hear the curses and anguish of those I've sacrificed forever. Isn't it painful? Don't you wish to die? Emilio! Are you an angel or are you a little demon? Like, what's going on? Hmm. It was quite a thing to say, considering the church condemns suicide. Emilio was smiling, as if he knew what the answer to my question would be. I answered with honesty. I'm not suffering as much now. That's because she's here each morning when I wake up. I had been living in a nightmare ever since I lost my sister. I couldn't tell whether the nightmares I had at night were real or not. Everything I saw was tainted and unclean. Everyone, my blood, my flesh, everything. True, true. Demons be angels who go to the BDSM dungeons. But now, I know the dream I have is a dream. My reality has become my life with Pinker beside me. I looked at the palms of my hands. I didn't want her to touch me at first. At times, I felt like I shouldn't touch her. I thought I needed to keep her as far away from me as possible. But now, as I fell into a sea of thought alone, Emilio was looking at me with a warm smile. I'll pray for you and your partner's future to be filled with happiness. Oh, thank you, my little creepy child. I don't know what I would do without you. Whew. Thanks to the children, I was able to gather the laundry together before it flew away. I lifted up the hefty basket with all my might. I followed after the kids who were running happily back inside. I'll hold that. Henry was standing beside me and extended his hand out to help. Oh, I'm fine. Give me a good one. His hair tickled me as it blew in the breeze. It didn't take long for me to notice that he had kissed me gently on the cheek. I couldn't seem to get my thoughts together. My cheek? He kissed me? Henry took the basket from my hands, seeing that I had frozen in my tracks. Huh? What? Even though I couldn't get myself to think straight, 'cause we're not. Wait, Henry! As I called out to him, he turned around and smiled. I hurriedly chased after him to ask what happened. What was that? Why did Henry touch me when we were making our escape from the underground passage? But since then, even after escaping here, he hadn't touched me at all. Hey, Henry! Henry didn't answer and headed back inside. As I gave chase, I could feel my cheeks getting unusually hot. I wasn't sure why, but all I knew was that my heart was racing when he kissed me. So cute. That's the romance and ending. I still don't know what this feeling is, but I only ask that Henry continues to smile. That is the hardest thing to read. I pray from the bottom of my heart that his pain and suffering will one day disappear. Finn! Oh, such good endings. All right, it's our favorite time. Time for the bad endings. These will be fun. So, first we go to chapters, finale, chapter 8, low, low, yes. Fast forward. A cop's duty. Of course, I didn't write when I came back. That would be smart of me. 6:44 in the recording. I have an illness. Nicola cut the ropes binding me. We were ready to move when the men returned inside the room. Why you? Seeing us free, he quickly drew his gun. Stop it! Don't shoot! He tried to stop his comrade, but it was too late. Nicola pushed me down to the ground so that we could stay low. The bullet flew over us and hit the goods behind us. Casio. Huh? Suddenly, a bright light flashed through the area. Nicola threw himself over me. The men, the area itself, everything was engulfed in flames. I don't know what happened. My consciousness faded away. All gone. One down. Now I need to check this save point here that I made. See if this is a right save point. Yeah, this was the right save point I made. Good. Good on me. Gil is probably waiting for me. I'd better hurry back. Not that I'm worried about him. I was sure I'd meet the man again. I thought about speaking with him later, at a later time as I left my room. I'll go back to the church. So we walked through the door and started blasting. Then I got the banging of my life. Yes. I guess warning for some flashing. Because again, we're just fast forwarding to get the bad endings now. Hi, Henry. Nope, we fast forward through that. Talk to the boys. I better get back to my duties. Is there a meeting? Was there a meeting tonight?
そんなものはない。
Not at all. I thought so. I hadn't been contacted about it. So why was Yang here? This was starting to feel odd. It's probably too late. What are you mowing about? Lay down. That one's gonna autoplay. Go back to bed. Fast forward. Something doesn't feel right. Have Orlok go. He's not gonna go because he's the little bugger. Retaliate. Ah! Oh, I get beat to death. Once ignited, the flames of anger and violence only spread. I took a hit and fell to the ground. The stone pavement felt cool. Had I landed on my head? The only thing I knew was that there was a sharp pain running through it. I saw Orlok trying to make his way through the mob. Then I felt something wet and warm running down my face. The red liquid slowly covered my eyes. Soon, my eyes could see no more. Oh, I don't know what save file 3 is, so I need to go back to where save file 1 is. Load. Press F. Yeah. F to pay my respects. I got beaten to death. Fast forward. Um, I better go check and see. I'm with Visconti. Can't just let things be. There are things I can still do. Once I get to save file 3, where I'm supposed to create save file 3, I'm going to save and then I won't have to backtrack as far next time. I really want to know. I just didn't make a bunch of save files where I should have because I was so caught up in playing. I want to go back to the church. But that's okay. I only have to fast forward through like 2 chapters. It's not like before when I used to have to fast forward through 6 chapters to get to an ending. Blame is automatically going to play. Director Yang and Gil and Dante. Talkie, talkie, talkie. Talk to Giuseppe. Boop, boop, ba doop, boop, ba doop, boop, ba doop, boop. I have to watch this. Do 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 do. How we feeling? We did a 7-hour stream so far. Oh, blood sugar's still high. Did you eat something? I guess you can't really eat something to make your blood sugars go down. You just kind of gotta rest. Drink water, maybe? Does that help? Yeah, potassium, that would be the one. And you don't have any bananas, do you? No nanners? No nanners. Oh, I'm sorry.
この電話自体は壊れてません。
That is true. Uh, 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 uh. Save. What is the choice here? It's I should be going. Did I miss one? Yeah, save file 3. Bad end. Load save file 2. Where's save file 2? Oh, I missed one. It's alright, I know how to get there. Oh, I can't rewind that far. Whoops. let's try this. Main menu, yes. Chapters. Chapter 6. Low. Low. Yes. I'm stupid. Eh, fast forward. Nope. Fast forward. I better get back to my duties. Did you come to pray? I'll go see who it is. What? Huh? You're going after her? Leave her alone. I bet that person is someone special to her.
そっちこそ
Don't get in my way. Haha, she's gonna hate you. Come on, it's not gonna take long. Ugh, but. Well, it isn't too dangerous if she's gonna stay in the area, but.
そんな
I went running out into the garden, but I didn't see anyone in the graveyard anymore. Those two arrived just a moment ago, so he must be nearby. I looked outside and ran into the streets. Ah! I noticed a shadow moving into the alleyway and hastily gave chase. You there?
あ
Uh? The person turned around in surprise. It wasn't anyone I knew. Oh, I'm so sorry.
あ俺が一体何したってんだよ
The hell you want with me, huh? You telling me I'm drunk? I wasn't sure if he was simply drunk, or under the influence of drugs. His eyes were unfocused. I'm so sorry. I just thought. Shut up. You got a problem? Ah! He grabbed my wrist with surprising force, then drew something from his jacket. A knife. Ah! Problem solved. Now you can't say nothing. Unable to hold back pain, I crumpled to the ground. I can't move. I couldn't even speak. Blood flowed out of my body. I felt death wrapping its arms around me. And slowly, I closed my eyes in eternal slumber. Drunk man, what do you have? A knife! Drunk man, no! Where did he get a knife from? The end. That was bad ending 3. I skipped over bad ending 3 at first and went straight to bad ending 4. So now let's load bad ending 4. Yes. Dante doesn't say anything. I'm sorry, but I really need to head back. I'm sure everyone at the church is waiting. I also want to give Dante some time alone to digest what we just heard. I had a hunch he'd appreciate having some time to himself.
そうですか。
I see.
またぜひ
Well,
いら
please
して
do
くだ
come
さい
again.
ね。
Yes, and thank you, Julia. With that, Dante and I stepped out of the kitchen. We were riding in the same car that had driven me to the manor. We were now passing through Arca. Suddenly, gunshots were fired. The car jerked, sliding suddenly until it collided into a wall. What is going on? Dante somehow managed to get up, Looking outside through a cracked window, we saw men wearing black come towards us. Ugh. He quickly ducked his head at the sound of gunfire, glass shattering onto us. Dante, what should we?
俺が活路を開く。
I'll
応対
distract
に
them,
なるか。 お
so
前は
use
その
that
心
chance
境
to
から
run
の
to the
逃げだ。
church. What the hell? Husband, I'm in this car.
あいつらの狙いはおそらく
They're
俺だ。
probably after
この
me.
車がファルツォーネの
They
モン
must
ド
have
を知ってるっ
marked
てきた
this
んだ。
car, knowing it's owned by the foul zone.
俺のそばにいてはお
I
前は
can't
危険だ。
risk having you near me. But I can't leave you here alone.
早くしろ。
Just go. Dante jumped out of the car and began shooting to give me cover. Please be safe. I got out of the car and dashed towards the church with Dante's support. Then I noticed. More men clad in black appeared from behind Dante. Dante, behind you! I turned around to run towards Dante. Before I could reach him, a bullet shot through my body. Pink! As Dante called out my name, more bullets flew towards him. Ah! I saw Dante slowly falling to the ground. That was the last image my eyes would see. We died together. How romantic. Which ending is Yang gonna stab me in? I like how Dante usually dies with us. Right? Isn't it cute? We're just so weak and widow together. Someone just needs to protect us both. Someone with red hair. Yang just needs to take care of us and love us. I'm worried about the people. I want to go. Yes. Protect us from assassination. Keep us like caged birds.
初めて彼女と言葉を。
I've watched this one. Fast forward, please. Much like the baseball. Caged birds surprise me for some reason. Listen, Yang just needs to keep us as like spoiled bottoms. Hi, Echo. How are you? We've been having a marathon night, day, several hours. You said tomorrow, right? Hmm. Orlok nodded silently. Bishop Josef von Rossberg was a very high ranking official within the church. I could see that Orlok was very pious just by living here at the church with him. So I think I can trust someone who he treats in high regard. But tomorrow is a bit too sudden. I'm not really prepared to see him. Ugh,
わかった。
understood.
明日
I'll
は
ask
ま
the
たハルツ
Falzone
ォン
to
に護衛を手配
cover
して
me
もら
while
った
I go and meet him. I'm sorry, Orlok, for not going with you.
陛下が来ることになったのは
It can't be helped.
急な話
His
だった
Excellency's
から
visit was unexpected
仕方ない。
news. The following day, as scheduled, Orlok went by himself to see Bishop Rosberg. Orlok returned later and came to my room and saying he needed to talk with me.
陛下は
His
使命を
Excellency
終え
has
るあな
asked
た
to
に
meet you in
会いたい
person. Hmm?
重荷を肩代わりする
He
こと
may
はで
be
きない
unable
が
to take on your
導
burden,
きを示す
but
こ
he
とはできる
could
か
be
も
a
しれない
beacon of guidance.
陛下は
His
そうおっ
Excellency
しゃっ
has
た
asked me to convey that. He must be a very kind person to think of me. There were a few things I wanted to ask him about. I didn't really understand what it meant to be a key maiden.
来週またこの町に
He
来る
said
って
he
言
will
って
come
た
back next week. Can you meet
そ
him
の
then?
時なら
Yes. Hearing my reply, Orlok gave a sigh of relief, giving me a small smile. The day finally arrived. Orlok set the meeting for the early in the morning so that we could meet in secrecy. Things were chaotic, day and night, but the early morning hours were relatively quiet. Orlok led me to the ruins on the hill outside of town. Many people avoided coming here because of the rumors of the Grim Reaper appearing. Is this really the place? Orlok held my hand as he led the way. He suddenly turned around to look at me.
俺が守るから
Don't
大丈夫
worry, I'll protect you. I was surprised at his impeccable timing of responding to what was on my mind. Thank you, Orlok. We stepped into the ruins. A single man stood inside. The elderly man wore a very fine robe and had a very dignified presence. You must be Bishop Rosberg. I asked him politely, at which he simply looked at me and smiled.
いかにも
Indeed. Thank you very much for coming all this way.
礼には及ばない
No need to thank me.
鍵の乙女よ
Key Maiden,
自らの
facing
使命
your
と向
fate
き合うのは
can be quite
恐ろし
daunting
いこ
and
とでは
fearsome.
しかしあなたは勇気を持って
Anxiety,
ここ
the
に来
only emotion Orlok
た
understands.
それを私は答えたい
It's very true. You took a brave step in coming here. I applaud you for that. Bishop Rosberg,
あなたが背負う鍵の
I
乙女
will
の
share
使
with
命
you
について
all I know about your
私
destiny
が
as
知って
the
い
Key
ることを
Maiden.
話す
Why, thank you very. Uh? What's going on? A sudden explosion The ground shook, and the ruins were caving in. Orlok picked me up in one arm, then extended the other to grab Bishop Rosberg. He carried us both out and sped towards the exit. Another explosion. Stone, slate, and tiles came falling down on our heads from above. Many stars have lost their light and have been swallowed into darkness.
ああ、
Ah,
少し油断してしまっ
I
たか
wonder
な。
if that was careless. Emilio!
短期間に二度も同じ場所を使った
Using
の
the
が
same
良くなかったね。
location twice in such a short time was unwise. Someone must have found out.
向こうもかの地については
I
調べ
wonder
て
if
い
the
るだろうし、
perpetrator kept their eye
追
on
跡
the
に
ruins
も
for a
以
long
前から
time.
目をしかし、
Losing
ヨゼフはとも
Yosef
かく
was quite
鍵の
painful,
乙女をこんなとこ
but
ろで
not
失
more
って
than
しま
losing
う
the
なん
key
て、
maiden.
僕なりに目をかけていた
And
つ
here
も
I
りな
thought
んだ
I
けれ
gave
ど、
her sufficient support.
残念だ
It's
な。
a shame. Damn! And so, their story ended quickly and abruptly. All I could do was offer a bit of advice and to watch over them. May their souls rest in peace. I made a sign of a cross and offered my prayers. Okay. Dope. That was an explosively bad ending. But oh, psh. I'm funny. Fast forward. I want to meet him. Fast forward. Fast forward through all this talking, all this nonsense, blah de blah de blah. Churchmen talking, my angel talking, Orlok talking. So much talking in chapter 7. The reveal of Rosberg being Orlok's dad. For saying you'll protect me. Save. Alright, this is the final bad ending. Here we go. Could it be? Yes, I could forgive him. Hmm?
それは同情か。
Is that because you feel sorry for him? I'm not sure.
世界は彼を憎んで
He hates the world.
断罪される。
Everyone will say he should be
誰もが
punished.
言うだろう。
Yes, you may be right. If he committed many sins, then many would probably hate him. Even so, even if the others said otherwise, even if the world said otherwise, I can't dismiss the suffering he endured during his life. I don't think vengeance is a good thing, but he must have suffered greatly. He was hurt, and he suffered in pain without finding any salvation along the way. Which is why I can only assume he did what he had to do, with no other options in sight. Mm. If Chloe's younger brother sought vengeance out of sheer madness, I could forgive him for what he had done, even if that meant I might be hurt. It wouldn't change my answer. I know I'm just being lenient, but that's what I think. You're. Henry extended his shaking hand to me, but before his fingers could touch me, he clenched his hand into a fist. Henry?
私には君に触れる資格がない。
I don't have the right to touch you. His words were weak and shaking. Oh, poor baby.
私は罪を償わ
I need to pay for my sins.
それでも
Even so, I hope I can
君だけはこの
free you from this absurd mission.
そう
That is my hope.
で構わないんだ。
Henry. And without another word, Henry turned around and walked away. I was all alone now. Even after he left, I couldn't seem to bring myself to move. Old friend. We've seen this one. Neom. A few days passed. Dante and the others would be gathering at the church tonight to hold their meeting. I found an unexpected guest in the refectory. Hello there, Leo. Is Dante with you?
いや、
Oh,
ちょっと今日は個人的な事情
I
で
just came for personal reasons. Sis, we have a new friend.
この子も今日から教会の
Sister
子になる
Sophia
って
said he's gonna live with us starting today. I saw a boy in front of me that looked a bit younger than Jean.
すみません。俺が連れてきたんです。
I'm sorry, I brought him here.
こいつの親、フラン
His
スから
parents
ブ
came
ルゴー
from
ニュに移り
France
住んでき
to
たら
live
し
in
いですけど、
Berlin, but
最近治安が悪化
they
して
lost their jobs
仕
with
事
all
が
the
できな
things
くなって
happening, so he
探
was
っている
abandoned
空の
in
道から
Strano.
渡って
I see.
俺と似た境遇だったから
I couldn't leave him behind. He's just like me,
た
but
だの構成員の
I
親
can't take him to the
パリ高原
Falzone
に子供を
family.
連れて行くわけにも
Not
い
with
かな
my
いし
status. So you brought him here?
はい
Yes.
シスターは大丈夫
The
だって
sister said he's welcome
あ
to
の
live
子も
here,
ここで
so
暮らせるって言ってくれてこれからよろしくお
could
願
you
いし
please
ます
take care of him?
俺もたびたび
I'll be
様子
sure
を見
to
に来
come
ます
and
ね
as often as I can. Oh, Leo, good baby. Why, of course. I squat down to get a closer look at him. Nice to meet you. My name is Pinker. You can call me Pink. What's your name?
こんにちは僕はドゥドゥだよ
Hello, I'm Dodo. Doodoo. What is your name? Doodoo? That's an unusual name.
あこの子はエドアールって言うんだドゥドゥはあだ名なんだ
Oh, his name is Eduardo. Doodoo is his nickname. Okay.
お姉ちゃんもドゥドゥって呼んでいいよ
You can call me Doodoo too, sis. Thank you. I'm sure we will get along very well, Doodoo. Yep. I guess the French use nicknames a bit differently than we do. Nickname? Come to think of it, Brighton's name is a bit unusual too. Could it be... Doodoo?
何
Yes? If someone's nickname is Righton, what would their real name be?
えっと
Um,
多分アンリじゃない
I I think it would be Henry.
お姉ちゃんどうかした？
Are you alright, sis? Oh, it's nothing. Thank you very much. Do.
どういたしまして。
You're welcome. I reflected on what I had just learned as I watched the children play together. Henry's nickname is Righton. It was the middle of the night. Fast forward, more than meets the eye. Oh, and Pink?
うん。
Um,
あのね、
I know
こん
this
な
isn't the
時に
time to
聞くべ
ask
き
you
じゃないよう
something
な
like
気も
this.
するんだけど。
Huh?
でもずっと
But
気
it's
にな
been
っていたの
bothering
よ
me
ね。
all this time,
いつ聞
so
こ
I
う
was
か
hoping I
ず
can
っと
ask
悩
you
んでいた
now.
のよ。
Okay. About
あ
what?
のね、あ
Um,
なた最近
by
も
any
しか
chance?
して
Yes, I'm in love with you, Elena.
気になっている人がいるんじゃない？
Is there someone who interests you? Yes, it's you. Huh?
ほ
I
ら、
mean,
誰か思い浮かん
doesn't
だでし
someone
ょ？
come to mind? You, Elena. What what are you Elena? It's not like I mean, yes, there's someone that comes to mind, but
やっぱり気になっているんじゃない？
see? I knew it. You must be in love. Yeah, with you, Elena. Why are you doing this to me? Don't push me off on a man. We're supposed to be lesbian nuns together. Stop this foolishness. I'm not for men. I'm for you. True ending of the game. Elena and I become lesbian nuns. She smiled, seeing me stutter. I suppose. Putting my lotion on my hands. Boop doop boop boop boop. We could just rename Elena to Cole for how good she is at reading signals. My arms are itchy. I suppose you can say I'm in love with you, Elena.
ねえ、一体誰？
So, who is
知っ
it?
てる人？
Is it someone
も
I
しか
know?
して。
Could it be? Is it you, Elena?
教えて。
Come now,
話せる
Pink.
範囲でいい
Who
か
is
ら。
it? Well, just fast forward through all that. Perfect.
セバスティアーノ様、
Senor
本気でおっしゃ
Sebastiano,
っておられるのですか？
is that really what you wish?
当然だ。
Of course.
私が冗談だ。
Do you think I'm joking?
あの男を殺せ。
Kill him.
もちろんあなた様のためでしたら、我
We
々
will
は
do
いつでも
anything for
ご
you
随意のままに。
and follow your command, but
ですが、あの男は
that man is the foul zones.
構うことはない。
Don't let that bother you.
温かな血が通った人間
His
では
blood
ない
may not be red like
彼
us,
もあくまで
but he's no demon.
銃でもナイフでも
Use any normal means to kill him,
手段
be
を
it
選ぶ
guns or
必要はない。
knives.
しかし、
But
いかにセバス
even
ティ
if
アー
we
ノ
do
様といえ
kill
ば
him,
彼に手
you
を
will be
出せばおかし
jeopardizing
な
your
のか。
position and
知らないのか。今ブルローネマフィアは急速に力を失いつつ
just so you know, the mafia in Berlin is losing hold of their power.
無謀たらしく
Kill
殺せ。
him without fail. and without
女その
mercy.
日の出を止めろ。
Send him to hell as he deserves.
彼はマフィアだ。
He is in the mafia,
殺し殺される
so
覚悟
I
が
am sure he's
常に
aware
生きているだろう。
his life is always in danger anyway. Ooh! Getting a little kill happy there, babe? Just a tiny bit?
手を下す君たちの
So you have nothing to worry about. Do I make myself clear?
バカだったか。
Crystal! Crystal clear, my darling. Yes,
かしこまりました。
as you wish.
では
Fine.
私もお
Now
客
then,
様のお相手に
I'd
戻
better
ると
get
いた
back
し
to
ま
greeting
し
her
ょう。
fine guests. Chapter 8 Rampito. Henry's gonna ask me some questions. I'm not. Just because they're mafia doesn't mean they're scary. They're all good people. No. I haven't thought much about having freedom or wanting freedom. Oop. Have you ever cursed God? Yes. Well, I couldn't answer him right away. I couldn't say it hadn't crossed my mind. I have cursed God before.
そうだな。
Yes,
当然だ。
and that's only natural. He closed his eyes and paused for a moment
こんなにも
to imagine those with similar fate
同じ
could
使
be
命
so
を背負わ
similar.
せ
It's a burden. To be honest, it feels like a burden sometimes. I still haven't been able to fathom this to this day that I'm actually special.
君は
You're
クロエだ。
Chloe. Oh boy. Yeah, I see why this is a bad ending. Huh?
クロエと同じ。
You're the same as.
そのもの
No, you are Chloe.
私が救えなかった
The
クロエ。
Chloe I couldn't save. Henry? What's the matter? Henry's eyes were gentle and kind. He slowly came towards me. Henry? I took a step back.
大丈夫だよ。
It's
あ
okay.
げるから。
I'll save you. He was looking at me with a gentle smile. He reached out his hands to me and softly placed a damp towel over my mouth. My vision went dark. I heard his words as I fell into a slumber.
どうか
Please,
私を信じてほしい。
trust me. His voice was gentle and kind. She was sleeping quietly on the sofa.
すでに準備は整った。
Everything is ready.
もう大丈夫だ。
It'll be all right. No one was around. No one could stop me. She was regaining her consciousness. Her eyelashes were fluttering, and her eyes slowly opened as she turned my way. Henry? Where am I? An explosion rocked the casino. She quickly got up and was shaking with fear.
大丈夫だよ。
It's
何
all
も
right.
心配いらない。
Don't worry, Chloe. Huh? I gently cradled her shaking body.
クロエ。
I'm sorry, Chloe. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for being so mean to you.
一人で苦しかったで
It
しょ
must have been lonely being by yourself.
今度は
But it'll be
僕
all
も一緒
right.
だから
I'll be with you. Wait, Henry, I'm not Chloe.
大丈夫だよ
It's okay, Chloe. There's nothing to be afraid of. Just because they're mafia doesn't mean they're scary. They're all good people. I haven't thought much about having or wanting freedom. I've cursed God before. You've called me the Key Maiden, but to be honest, it feels like a burden sometimes. I still haven't been able to fathom to this day that I'm actually special. Henry! Thank goodness.
これでようやく
I can finally save
俺
Chloe.
を救える
Flames engulfed the area as the explosions continued. The ceiling collapsed and rubble fell. She was calling my name in my arms. I could finally embrace her once more. End. And that's all the bad endings, y'all. Save me. Wow, Henry. See, if we go to extras, we go to progress, they're all done. All the routes are completely done. We finished them. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time with a different series. Goodbye, YouTube.